4th grade. It's Miss Frennis again, and more 6 traits. That's what we're going to be talking about again today. But today we're doing onomatopoeia. I just love the name onomatopoeia, and that's what we're going to be working with today. So the book is called If You Were Onomatopoeia. This was written by Trish Speed Slaskin, illustrated by Sarah Gray. And so that is our 6 traits today. And remember, please make sure you save these worksheets, save these sheets. They will be really helpful when you write, and I hope all of you are going to be writing a book or something like that for library. It can be a picture book, it can be a novel. Some people are writing novels, it's pretty incredible. You can even do a joke book or a riddle book. But if you would like a book here in the library, please make sure you write it. I'd love to, put spiral bind it, keep it here in the library, and hopefully next year we'll be back in the library. And if you can't check out a book, or even if you can and you want to read somebody else's writing, you can go to the back there and you can get a book and look through it. So I hope you all are thinking about writing books for the library. So today, one of my favorite words, onomatopoeia. If you don't remember what it is, that's why I love these books so much. It always tells you a little definition. Onomatopoeia, a word that sounds like the action it describes. And that's the great thing about onomatopoeia. It just sounds like an action word anyway, Oh, great word. If you were onomatopoeia, you could choo-choo or woo-woo like a train. You could drip, drop like a leaky faucet. If you were onomatopoeia, you would be the word that sounds like the action it describes. It would be your job to imitate the sounds that surround you. You could kerplunk and splash like a fish jumping into water. If you were onomatopoeia, you would need to be an attentive listener. Being attentive means to listen carefully and concentrate on what you hear. You could imitate the sounds you hear indoors. You could clang like a pot or pop like corn. You could whir like a blender. If you were onomatopoeia, you could sound like nature. You could whoosh like a waterfall, whisper like the wind, swirl and twirl like a tornado, splish and splosh like the rain, or boom like thunder. If you were onomatopoeia, you could make animal sounds. Animals use sounds to communicate. You could roar like the lion that rounds up its cubs. Grr, grr. You could call out drum like a bullfrog does when it marks its home turf. You could honk like a gaggle of geese when they fly through the air. I know right now geese are really coming back. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them. If you were onomatopoeia, you could explore how one animal sound could be heard in a variety of different ways because different languages are made up of different sounds. You could bark like a dog in English, woof woof. You could bark like a dog in Spanish, gruff gruff. You could bark like a dog in Japanese. Wah, wah. I think that is so fascinating that animals sound different depending on where you live. If you were onomatopoeia, you could name the sounds you can make with your hands or your feet. You could say stomp, stomp and snap, snap. You could say pat, pat and clap, clap. And the great thing about that is we all know what those sounds sound like, and we know what you're trying to communicate and what those mean. So think about that when you're writing. You could, use that onomatopoeia to really convey those sounds. If you were onomatopoeia, you could create music by making percussion sounds. Percussion instruments create sounds when they are struck or shook. You can make the tsta, tsta, the sound like the brush on a cymbal. You could bang, bang, bang and rat-tat-tat like a stick on a drum. If you were onomatopoeia, you can make the sounds that keep time. You could tick and talk like the clock, or buzz like an alarm. You could cuckoo like the bird that marks each hour. When the sun comes up, you could cock-a-doodle-doo, and when the moon rises, you could ahoo, if you were onomatopoeia. So ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to use onomatopoeia when you are writing. They're great words. They really convey meanings and sounds that you can't get across any other way. And so for today, you are going to be circling the onomatopoeias in this little poem right here. And of course it says an onomatopoeia is a word that imitates the sound that it describes. And then how many onomatopoeias can you find in this poem? And then you are going to have a crash course in onomatopoeia. And of course, crash is an onomatopoeia. And onomatopoeia is a word that imitates the sound it describes, like buzz or murr. Write the onomatopoeia word that describes the sound each item makes. Some words may have more than one sound. You can include those words or just choose the best one you feel. So you're going to go through, you're going to write those onomatopoeias down, and then you're going to write 2 sentences using some of the onomatopoeias that you've already put at the top there. So you're going to incorporate those sounds into 2 sentences. So hopefully that will start making you think about, using that onomatopoeia or using those onomatopoeias when you write. And then of course, I always love word searches because they're just so much fun. And there's a whole list of onomatopoeias here, and you can find them within your crossword puzzle. The cool thing about onomatopoeias is it's used a lot in graphic novels or comic books. So this is a really helpful guide to use if you're one of those people that love to write comics or graphic novels. And don't forget, I'd love to have some graphic novels here in the library. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next week with another 6 traits. Bye.